his head, and there he goes. Abyss gonna clean him up.
Olaf goes down. Everyone's just gonna line up here for Lazzy. He's gonna find himself the Quadra. Give it to him. Pentakill.
Priestley with the quad feet.
Gets the ace. Available just spin to win all over.
That game was insane. Back to another night of Saints Gaming Overwatch. Today it is Saints versus Ryerson University. How are you feeling about it, Dan?
Well, this is going to be an interesting one. I'm feeling rather excited. We've had ourselves a bit of an up and down season so far here across basically all of our leagues for this Overwatch squad. Trying their hardest, but right now we're sitting at 1 win, 2 losses in NACE. And as of this moment, so is Ryerson. And with, of course, the playoffs, or the playoff hopes rather, with being early in the season, but yet at the same time, it still feels like it's kind of fallen away from us. Every match now moving forward, of course, definitely matters. And we need to find ourselves with a W tonight, and that excites me.
For sure. It looks like it's going to be a really tight game because, as you said, it was 2-1, right, for both teams?
I mean, the running gag every single time I say this is a close matchup on paper, right? So I always try to hold my tongue a little bit, but nonetheless, it should be an exciting one way or another, as we do see players loading on in, getting ready for what will be game number 1. Not quite sure the map selection as of just yet. Of course, I'll relay that information as soon as we have it, but players excited, ready to go for one more match here, or round 4 of this NACE regular season.
For sure. And we can see most of the players here have their jerseys on today, repping that Saints merch. A little early, but we do have Saints merch on the acquire.gg, or no, acquire.ca, sorry,
there
website.
Yeah.
We usually save that for a little bit later, but, you know, thought I'd mention it since we were seeing those beautiful jerseys.
Well, absolutely. We look at the cam and there's this jersey after jersey after jersey, and for once, it's not exclusive to the players. Make sure that you do join us on acquire.ca/saints to make sure that you get your merch. Everything from the jerseys and jackets to a bunch of additional apparel, including the ever so prominent meme shirt of Scrim after some year 1 shenanigans. But it was definitely funny to see all of our merch actually being fantastic this year, to say the least. I mean, we've had some good stuff in the past, don't get me wrong, but I absolutely love this new lineup.
Me too. Absolutely love the dark mode Saints merch. Looks pretty cool. So it looks like we're going to be getting to the game very shortly here. Just waiting for the teams to ready up and get in the lobby and everything.
It'll still be just probably a little bit longer here with us, but nonetheless, of course, Ryerson, we played them time and time again across multiple different rosters, across multiple different leagues. It's one of those things where, just as being Canadian brethren, I suppose, we just kind of run to each other in the same divisions over and over again, especially when leagues like NACE are doing what they're doing right here, where it's like, okay, everybody who's Canadian, I know you signed up to go play up against schools that you normally don't get to play up against, but screw it, you're all going into the same division, and we're going to make you play again and make it OPSE light. But nonetheless, hopefully that does get switched up in the meantime, but that does mean we do get some more practice against our Canadian brethren, like I was saying before, so always interesting. And with Ryerson having a similar scoreline, I'm hopeful for a good match.
Me too, for sure. It's really exciting to see Canadian esports, I guess, for collegiate. We do see that with like OPSE, like you'd said, but it's nice all over Canada. We got playing in this league for us to go up against here.
Yep, everybody's leveling up together, and at the end of the day, you gotta bring everybody up so that we can take on those American schools at the end of the day. But in terms of the matchup itself, still, of course, waiting on map selection from both of the teams, but we did happen to get to take a look at an interesting weekend, and I made the joke prior to the broadcast, will this match last longer than the actual Overwatch League finals?
I hope so. I mean, the Overwatch League
best of 5.
Overwatch League finals did go by pretty fast. It was a 4-0, so hopefully we see a little bit more back and forth today. I think it's a best of 5.
Yeah, best of 5 action here tonight, and I mean, at least with that, it does give a little bit of additional hope towards like all the Overwatch fan base, because unfortunately, it's been one of those fan bases just kind of begging for anything new, right? Because let's be honest, we haven't had ourselves a new hero in quite a long time. A new map was only like a custom mode, like free-for-all map or something as of
Yeah.
late. So it's, at one hand, like, okay, there's no new content, so the game kind of dries up. But at the same time, this gives the teams more and more time to refine what they already know. And I know personally, coming from a StarCraft background, that game like never had like really any updates at all. So it was up to the players to make the changes by discovering new strategies instead of kind of hoping that the developer does it for them. So really looking forward to seeing what both of these teams are going to throw at us depending on the map selection.
For sure. And it's super interesting now that Overwatch 1 esports is done at the tier 1 level. So it's going to be interesting to see, like, are people going to start watching some collegiate in that meantime while we wait for more Overwatch 2 news if it ever comes?
And slowly but surely, I'm sure it'll trickle in. But yeah, at the end of the day, I'll say at the end of the day, like 17 more times here on this cast. I'm catching my own patterns here, but at the same time, we just have to take what we get and just slowly but surely just keep on getting excited. Like, I know personally, I'm extremely excited. To switch to 5-on-5 will be absolutely insane, with tanks just being basically individually super buffed, but like with there only being one compared to two, it'll be a definite change, especially with some of the character changes that we even seen over the weekend. Looking forward to seeing what that all ends up being. I know the World of Tanks fan in me loves new Bastion already, and I haven't even touched it.
Oh yeah, it looks so cool, especially with his new ultimate, being able to just shoot straight up in the sky and then it come back down and 600 damage as soon as it hits.
Yes.
That's crazy.
It's a gimme. You don't even know where it came from.
So it looks like everybody's just sort of getting ready here.
I think I see a lobby in the background, so it should be just around the corner. Of course, big thank you to everybody already tuning in, joining us here for this NACE Star League matchup. Of course, round 4, both St. Clair and Ryerson sitting 1 and 2, with the playoff hopes, while still being early, can still be kind of threatened here. So obviously, they want to get themselves to that 2-2 record, at least kind of sit in the middle and have a decent shot towards the upper half. Especially, I know in the Saints' case, they had one really hard match right off the start, but then they had a couple of ones that probably on a different day could have went their way, and hopefully today we'll see them get that dub.
Hopefully. I know I was talking to some of the players, and they're feeling pretty excited for the match today, and NACE in general, they're feeling pretty confident, pretty good. So hopefully it was just a fluke the last 2 or 3 games there, and they're on their way up.
Like, I know, like, getting to talk to Q during meetings and whatnot, he's always just kind of, especially for that first week, I think it was versus Stony Brook. Even to this day, he's kicking himself. Like, I know we could have beat that team. I know we could have done it. Just for whatever reason that day, it just did not click. And now the players had much more time to sit down and actually like refine their strategies and like upgrade their communications, get a little bit more used to each other. Because let's be honest, though, that was still pretty early into the season. Of course, not every team had the luxury like our Rocket League team had over the summer, where they had like 3 different leagues going on. Everything else was kind of just waiting for September. So now that everybody's back in action, ready to rock, it should just be a matter of time before everybody starts just absolutely killing it.
For sure. And I know Overwatch in specific, I know a lot of times they were trying to do some scrims here and there if they could find another like collegiate team that was looking to do that, or some other team that was high enough level to scrim against. But they were doing a lot of like ranked practice and everything, which is a totally different game from like tier 3, tier 2 esports. So it's going to be interesting to see now that they've had about a month of playing together in collegiate esports, to see like what they've developed and how they've kind of progressed as to where they are now.
Now, we've been kind of hyping them up a little bit, but we haven't necessarily, for those new to this or new to our broadcast, we've never necessarily introduced everybody. I do believe we have a roster slide available. Sure enough, there we go. And it's going to be, of course, newcomer to the squad, Gabriel Scalise Papa. That's going to be G-Scales on the off-tank role, more than likely. Then, of course, one of our returning players, Matthias Edson, also known as Apostle, going to be leading us into battle here. And then on DPS, why don't you take us through and see who we got here?
So we have Zachary Available Schreier and Patrick Cheesy Hubler on our main roster, and Kale Cullen on substitute.
Yeah, absolutely. Still a DPS player, nonetheless, here on the squad, can be put in at absolutely any time. I know NACE has been very good for like allowing people to essentially come off the bench and just hop right into the swing of things. And then, of course, our support line, Aiden Allen, that's going to be 9. And then Arjunk Kiela, a.k.a. Arjunk, going to be keeping everybody all topped up and healthy and good to go as we get ready for more and more team fights. We do have everybody hopped into lobby. I see Li Zhang hovered as of this moment. Might be our first map, unless they do a quick switch. But that being said, we see Li Zhang quite frequently to start off the series as of late.
For sure, yeah. Li Zhang is very good for that first kind of control map because it's so... each version of Li Zhang is so different. You have the one with the big tower in the middle, and then there's the market, and the one that almost looks like the inside of like a space station, kind of. There's that one too. So like all the different maps on Li Zhang are great to kind of like see what the players' strong suits are for each team and kind of where the game will kind of go from here. You can kind of predict it just a little bit.
Yeah, and it's also just like rather interesting since, of course, it's all under one map, but yet there's so many like volatile different styles between the three. Like they're not necessarily like very similarly made, whether it be usually it's the first point, but we'll have to see when we hop into it. I don't know the subtitles of the maps, unfortunately, but yeah, being able to either knock somebody off the side, or it's just a massive pit of death where Junkrat is just having the time of his life. Like AoE damage, long range damage, or just displacement. There's all sorts of variety that we can have coming up here in this matchup if Li Zhang is the pick. Could very well get switched up here. It's just the one that we did see. But let's take a look at some of these other maps, or at least in my mind here. Let's see. So we're going to probably see Saints Row at some point, more than likely down the line. And sure enough, we are loading on in. And speaking of the one where Junkrat just loves to have a field day, it looks like this is where we're going to start off here. Game number 1 between St. Clair College and Ryerson University, about to get underway.
Yes, this map is very scary for Junkrat because he could sit up in that little window up at the top right there and just rain bombs down onto anybody on the point. So when you have characters like Junkrat or characters like Widow that thrive off of having that line of sight, it's very difficult to get around that.
Absolutely. All those narrow corridors, you don't have much room to run, to say the least. Now, starting lineup here for Ryerson University, we have Fraud Chicken going to be the support line alongside KVN. On DPS, we have William and Aphrodisiac? Afro. We'll go with Afro. We have Plebu and Toast on the tank line there for Ryerson, as well as we hop on into the very first team fight. And they're just going to the high ground to start things off.
Both teams kind of just poking away at each other here. You can see St. Clair is kind of forcing Ryerson back into that hallway. Ooh, gonna take out a few players with that. Arjunk kind of just speeding his team into Ryerson's front line there, pushing them all the way back to spawn.
Yeah, the wall initially separating the squad a little bit made things extremely difficult for Ryerson. Got sent essentially right back to, or they kind of got separated. They were able to kind of focus them down, and it was just a little bit brutal to deal with after that. As we see the secondary attack coming through, and Apostle goes down early.
Big Maywall comes out here in front of Ryerson. They kind of have to break through that first to get in. Simwall comes out. Cheesy and 9 just having a field day here.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, absolutely nuts there from Cheesy, tearing through everybody for the most part. 9, of course, getting on the board as well, and that is what we like to see. And just Saints been able to just kind of stonewall him here at this entrance.
Looks like Saints are trying to figure out where they're going to go next. I think they just caught on that they're going to the right of them here, so they're going to regroup and try to meet Ryerson here just out of the server room.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. G-Scales pops a Sigma ult here, and Cheesy and Bailable were able to get a little bit of value out of that.
Okay, so they're going to be taking care of this fight nice and quickly. We're already halfway through the control points. So far, so good right now in regards to St. Clair. However, like if I were to nitpick, was that Blizzard needed? We were already 2 players ahead.
Exactly.
And I mean, like these nitpicks, of course, they could very well absolutely still win the matchup in the end here. But just ult economy in Overwatch, absolutely brutal to deal with. And I'm looking at Plebu there for this side of Ryerson. Has the Shatter available. Apostle does as well, though, so this could be a scrappy one going into this next one. And sure enough, going to be the one Shatter making contact with the support line, but good job on the Saints front line to at least be in the way, so they could not really capitalize. Apostle Arjunk going to be getting themselves a couple eliminations here. Apostle one more time. Flame strike to the face, Wydonja, and takes them right back to spawn yet again.
The back window comes out at the end here.
That's a flex right there, but at the same time, there's only 5 seconds essentially left on the clock here. 95. Just have to deal with the Lucios. You got to get to the point in time. 1 second left. No, he's not going to get there. St. Clair dominating in this first part of Lijiang.
It's interesting to use your ultimates that early into the last few seconds there, because if he did touch, they could have been the difference between winning and losing that point. But I mean, I digress. You know, I'm not going to nitpick that much.
Absolute confidence coming out there from St. Clair, to say the least. And looks like there is going to be a quick pause here as we do fix up some technical difficulties in regards to our junk, it looks like. So going to quickly get that all fixed up here. But after that first round, you wouldn't have guessed that there was really anything wrong there. But it looks like our junk just straight up disconnected. So he'll probably be just a moment here. Quickly, figuring everything out. And still very high spirits, though, especially considering how confident they looked.
For sure. You can see Nine and Apostle there kind of joking around, waving their hands around a little bit. I know, as you can see going into the last round, Nine was listening to some music. You know, everybody's kind of getting pumped up and dancing.
That's definitely interesting, because I know, like, of course, with esports or sports in general, but communication is everything. At least personally, I would not be able to play with music, trying to listen to everybody at the same time, but there's a reason why I'm behind the commentator's desk and not an actual player, right? They've got this multitasking thing on lockdown, especially if you're playing Overwatch, now that I think about it, so.
Absolutely. Overwatch has so much noise, though, that I find sometimes I can play with music and sometimes I can't. Oh, it does look like they are ready.
Okay, didn't take them too long to hop back into the swing of things. Has that Lucio ready to go, and it looks like we're going to have ourselves a rather similar situation. Of course, with Lijiang, this time by, everybody's just diving for that tower in the middle. Has a little, like, not a moat, but has lots of gaps to get booped off of as well, if the positioning is correct. And I'm looking for that teleport. Here comes Cheesy's teleport, and they are just going to just flash themselves so much further, but at the same time, so does Ryerson, and it's going to be a ball right on the point to start things off.
Ryerson does have the point control right now in their favor. St. Clair trying to find a way in. You can see G-Scales and Apostle here just kind of peeking in, seeing if they can make way for themselves, but it's still kind of back and forth. Sombra Hack does come in on Pleboom.
Oh, that's definitely the time to go with the shield down. They take down William right away, right along with G-Scales, as he's literally face first into the action with Arjunk there by his side, keeping everybody all topped up and good to go. Baby Diva is going to be forced out of the mech. And you can see with this close quarters action, the Reaper picks are definitely much more wiser, considering it's always close quarters. Those shotguns doing so much damage. The back and forth fight continues to the point where there's ultimates involved. We do have Plebu with the Shatter, which did get a little bit of value, but nobody went down due to that invulnerability matrix. Doing a nice job in that regard. Apostle hanging on for dear life for a second. Primal Rage, he's got Babe go crazy, going to be knocking everybody all over the place. And Diva Bomb out of nowhere there from G-Scales as well is going to make things a little bit interesting. And Saints, as of this moment, look like they're finally going to turn this one in their favor. But in the meantime, at least, though, Ryerson were able to sneak a little bit of capture point percentage on that one. So they get about a quarter, but now Saints have control.
Saints have to be careful with ult economy here and there, because for a moment there, Ryerson had about 2 or 3 ults over them, but they were still able to pull through and try to get them to use their ults in ways that St. Clair could kind of avoid and use in their favor.
Right now, of course, Cheesy on the Sombra. We're going to be looking for this EMP, and holy money EMP there from Cheesy. Nobody's going to have an ability for days. That's an instant team wipe.
EMP Death Blossom is absolutely terrifying. There's nothing you can do at that point. Once Bailable dives in there, starts popping the Death Blossom, you'd have nothing to hide from. Like, you have nowhere to hide. You have no abilities to kind of stop that damage. You're kind of screwed.
Yeah, cue the soundbite from the intro. Bailable spin to win all over him. Just absolutely destroying. G-Scales, he's going in deep really quickly. But here comes the Diva Bomb in the building, though, so there's a lot of walls that block as much of that as possible. All the Saints are going to be alive, of course. That's a one-shot if you get smoked by the Diva Bomb explosion radius. Available is going to find the first elimination, but we do have another death brawl sub. Aphrodisiac going to go absolutely nuts on the squishies here as Arjunk and Cheesy both are going to be going down. Apostle hanging on for dear life, but he does have Primal Rage yet again, able to re-heal himself all up to completion, but going to have to just hang on by a thread. His support line has been kind of wrecked a little bit. 9 got picked off as well. G-Scale's back and forth here. Now again, fire off the Diva mech as well. Not going to find it just yet though, and this fight's still going.
Saints still have the point in their favor right now at 85%. Probably the best bet for Ryerson right now is to just die or get out of there quickly and group up so they can take this next fight as 6. Saints are at 94% right now. Time is ticking down. They only have a few seconds available, pulling out the Death Blossom. Oh my goodness, there's almost no way for them to come back from this right now. They're down 4 or 5 players. Saints are holding the point. Overtime ticking down.
Crazy kill streak there for Apostle to finish things off as well. Just straight up did not die. Game 1 is going over to St. Clair College. Going to have ourselves a play of the game here in just a second to see who's going to score that one. We can see they're popping off. They're excited to say the least. A very, very decisive conclusion to that game there. And unfortunately there for Ryerson, yes, you're absolutely right. They all need to just like fall off and die quickly. However, none of them had ultimates.
Yeah.
They had absolutely nothing to break the point. And honestly, Bailable, he popped that Blossom extremely early, which to be like, normally I would say this as a meme, like it was a zoning ult. But legit, he just completely blocked the bridge. Like, okay, if you're coming towards the point and you're just going to beeline it to try to touch, you have to go the other way around or go like jump across. And not every character can do that. So to be fair, wise play.
For sure. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that he would pop it there. I thought he'd wait until they were on the point, but I guess you can hide around that little middle piece there, and he was like, you know what? I'm going to make sure they don't even touch, so they don't even get to that point.
Yeah, we know Reaper players, or DPS players especially, are very trigger happy with their ults. They want to get the big damage in, but at the same time, I can't tease because it got the job done at the end of the day. So game number 2 going to be up next. Normally, this is either your hybrid or your 2CP. Well, we'll figure out in just a moment. Of course, there's so many leagues, I lose track of exactly the order of operations here, but another one on the way. Like I was saying before, we'll probably see Kings Row. We're probably going to see Volskaya, in my opinion, if we do end up seeing 2CP come back. And then if I go off of the order from the last series, probably like Rialto if we really need it.
For sure. I think, like, I'm going to place my bets that it's going to be Kings Row, or as we like to call it, Saints Row.
Without question.
I feel like that'll be the next map, but that's just my prediction. I know they like to play that one a lot, so whenever they get the chance, they like to say, all right, we're going to play that map next.
Yeah, then thankfully for the Saints too, like Kings Row, it's just a loved map by majority of the community, it looks like. So, like, Ryerson may not be, like, angry to go to Kings Row, even though it's one of our most, like, practiced matches of like 3 years of Saints Overwatch. So we'll have to see what happens in that regard. But quick question, of course, it's kind of cheating as of right now since we did see how game number 1 went. But scoreline prediction, what are you expecting here for this one? Does Ryerson bring it back?
After that one, I really don't know because they were able to hold that second map, like that second point, really, really well for the first about 30 seconds to a minute there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that they won't take a game off Saints. So I'm going to say it's going to be a 3-1 in terms of Saints.
Now, I was thinking 3-1 as well. I was going to say that initially, but I don't want to be the guy just like, oh, cop out and just say your answer. No, Saints are taking this 3-0 without question in my mind now, as we have, of course, a little bit of a side switch this time by hopping into game number 2. And starting on defense will be the Saints. Ryerson going to get to strike first here. And is that a new support player for the side of Ryerson?
I do believe so.
Listia, I didn't recognize her from the last game.
So it looks like going for side of Saints, gonna go for that Ryan Diva, Bap Lucio, and May Cowboy. Very, very popular combo for our Saints. But over on Ryerson, we're going to have something kind of similar, but swap out the Lucio for a Mercy, and then the DPS are going to be different.
William is after my heart here on the far right. Let's see. Take to the skies and let's see what you can do, or do you get just straight out shot out of the air? But with Listia there, of course, that pharmacy combo is going to be very good at keeping him alive. That being said, though, you focus on the DPS. That means your tank is screwed, and G-Scales is going to just absolutely dive in. Missiles ready and waiting, and that's going to probably shut down this first fight.
That Mei wall by Available was so good by zoning off that Reinhardt and keeping him away from his team. Saints absolutely just collapsed on him, which is not a position you want to be in if you're Ryerson, but very well played by Saints.
Yeah, getting ready to load back up here. However, was that 9 all the way back at base? Yep. That's going to take a little bit of a while to get back out here. So Ryerson could find themselves in a situation for a 6-on-5. We'll see if they can take advantage. We do see Available actually going down. William going to find them. The damage amplification coming out here from Listia is absolutely coming in clutch. Toast taking down Apostle as well. This very well could be the first point going down. And to be fair for Ryerson, solid. Like, it only took 2 tries, but they are going to get this card out.
The Pharmacy combo is deadly on this map. It's annoying to play against. I'm speaking from experience. Many maps of playing against a Pharmacy on attack here on this map. Oh my goodness, it's definitely tough, so I don't blame Saints for having some trouble with it, but it looks like they are going to regroup and try to push them back in the alleyway a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of a mess here. That wall, though, is going to block out the Reinhardt. It's going to force the shatter, but that's going to be the barrage getting absolutely nothing here for William. Going to get shut right down, and right back to the spawn you go, and it's not past that deadly archway. This could be a big pincher maneuver.
Sometimes an Earth Shatter doesn't need to be the whole team, just a few key members, like what Apostle just pulled off there.
Absolutely.
Very great to see. They're kind of just poking down. Oh, they were able to wall off that Reinhardt again. He's not having a great day right now.
Gosh, every single time that happens, that's basically a 15-minute shutdown of there being any sort of possibility at a good fight. That being said, as soon as Ryerson does finally get the chance to fight, they'll have probably 5 ultimates on deck here, but they just have to escape. They're going to try with the Dragon. They're going to try and brute force this, and to be fair, they got 2. Aphrodite going to start things off nicely. But Available also right there had the Blizzard in hand, and so far, just keeping them stuck.
9 keeping the last few members of Saints up right now. Kind of chasing after that Pharmacy as well, but Toast is able to take out Available. So Saints are going to have to be pretty careful because they don't have that wall to protect them. Afro does take out 9 there. And, Reinhardt, or Apostle goes down to Afro as well.
Yeah, honestly, good breakout there for Ryerson. They found their opportunity, they squeaked out, and to be fair, they didn't really use a whole heck of a lot. The Dragon Strike there from Afro to get the double before the fight really even got the chance to get started was pretty critical. That being said, though, 5 ultimates now here for St. Clair. This next fight could be absolutely insane. Going to be the Observer's nightmare to try and keep track of all of these ultimates all at once. And it is going to be crazy.
Ryerson's in a similar position too with 4. Oh, and here comes the BAP wall from 9 to initiate. Available throwing up a window, or a wall, sorry. Like I said, building a whole house. Ooh! Oh, nice! G-Scales throws a Diva Bomb and the Toast throws another one right back at them, taking out 2 members. Looks like Ryerson is gonna be holding this card away from St. Clair.
That was absolutely perfect. Their Toast saving the play. That was so clutch there from G-Scales to find 3. However, with it instantly being shut down with 2 in return, Listia has the resurrection, brought them back, brought it into the numbers advantage, and now they're going to be going all the way to the second point. Pretty close to uncontested, more than likely. They'll be right on the doorstep, more than likely, before the next fight.
Definitely. It looks like Saints are trying to get back fast enough to hold them off from capping this 1 point. Don't know if it's quite possible. The Hanzo Dragons do come out. 9 able to kind of sustain his team. Oh, they all get shattered by Plebu. 9 still being able to keep out the rest of his team. Available trying to freeze that Hanzo for the life of him. Manages to do it. Plebu takes out Apostle, but G-Scales manages to knock out Farah, but Afro gets Available. Looks like Saints are slowly going down to Ryerson right now.
Honestly, huge plays there from Afro, and then for all of Ryerson to support Afro, because yeah, Available had him completely frozen, could not do anything, and that's a bit of an awkward thing there where Obviously, Afro, the Hanzo, being more of a sniper-based character with the bow and arrow, right? And available up close and personal, that's not what the sniper would want. So it gets the freeze, but everybody else collapsed on top of Available. He couldn't finish the kill, and it just takes one arrow from Afro, and that's exactly what he found. Turns the fight from being a danger in the back line, and now we have one more fight here for Saints, probably. And if they lose another, that is going to go all the way to the third, but they are not done yet. They are looking to be considerably ahead here in this team fight. Toast forced to run for the hills, probably just barely going to get back. There we go, Saints. We're back on the board. 2 ults on deck, maybe a couple more, with just about halfway to this last point.
Available locked them in for a second there with the wall. A little bit like, oh, please don't come out yet. We got to prepare. So it looks like Ryerson is coming back to Saints. Saints managed to wall off the Reinhardt. Dragon comes out from the side of Ryerson. Doesn't manage to get anything. Saints are able to take out some key members of Ryerson here. Available and 9. Kind of poking away at them. Ooh, a Shatter comes out here. Managed to get Plebu out of that, which is a big pick. Once you get the Reinhardt, it's pretty much collapsing from there.
I mean, that's your rock, right? That's your stone wall going down. It can basically single-handedly turn a fight. And Plebu is going to be one of those players to watch for this next one coming up as well, as he does have the Shatter right around the corner. Has to dodge all these. He's going to try and thread the needle. He found the support line, but he is going to go down as Apostle just charges right on in. That's a Diva Bomb. Where's this one going? That one's from G-Scales. Not going to quite find contact, though, as it will be the Invulnerability Matrix to keep it shut down. Toast is not going to be long for this world unless I'm an absolute liar. Stays alive. Never mind. G-Scales going to hunt him down. And now Saints again, so far, they had a bit of a rough spot during that second phase, but they finally seem to have their footing until Apostle goes down.
That's an interesting way to stagger a Diva there. Just freeze her so she can't leave.
And here we go again.
More ultimates coming out over here. Toast gonna jump through. Oh, trying to get bailable. Looks like G-Scales, Cheesy, and 9 are just doing some work over here on the side of St. Clair. Taking out almost everybody. They're pretty staggered right now on the side of Ryerson. They need to regroup as they only have 40 seconds left to try to push this cart to the very end.
G-Scales came in absolutely clutch there. Ryerson was down, but not quite out. William fired out the Blizzard. G-Scales gobbled it up. No Blizzard for you. You're all getting aggressive because you thought we were all going to be frozen. How about no? And now they have 26 seconds to try and get this thing all the way to the end. Another team fight. Just basically fighting under the Christmas tree here. Just have the invulnerability field keeping everybody topped off. Cheesy Deadeye from the corner is at least going to take care of the main tank. A bit of a back and forth, however. This thing is going to be going down. Bailable does end up finding him. Diva Bomb coming to the back line. Is it going to find anybody? No, it will not. It's going to force Toast to hop back in at a very, very low health rate. The window coming out. Those are going to absolutely kill. Any damage that goes through that window gets amplified. And the Saints absolutely clutching right up. 9 with a triple kill. Wolf, wolf, baby. This is going to be a nice quick one here at 2 points for the Saints.
Looks like Saints are going to cap this, hold this point from being captured.
Yeah, I said that backwards, of course. 2 points for Ryerson, which of course gives St. Clair the opportunity for 3. Try to get it all the way to the shiny area, as we'll see in a couple of moments. We see the cart there, actually. That's where they need to go. Any further than that, Saints are going to take this one, and we know they love this map. So this is prime time opportunity here for the Saints to find themselves in a 2-0 lead extremely early in this series and give the Overwatch League match run for its money in regards to a speed run.
I know one of our players' names is Cheesy, and one on Ryerson's name is Toast, so now I'm thinking about grilled cheese. Might make one of those when I get home later. Just every time we're kind of making a call out here, like Cheesy gets Toast or Toast gets Cheesy, I'm like, kind of want a grilled cheese now.
I mean, at least it isn't Cheesy and Luigi or whatever from last week, right? That was an absolute mouthful, but a mouthful of cheese sandwiches. Okay, the dad jokes at me are coming out. I'm so sorry. But this time, of course, the Saints are going to be on the attack. Let's see how far they can get this thing. Of course, I constantly hype up how good St. Clair are at getting Kings Row and going all the way to the 3rd point. But that being said, though, this is still very doable for Ryerson. 2 points and a good chunk of a distance to the 3rd. Could very well be held here, and they have themselves a pretty decent composition to try and stall things out.
Saints just gonna try to peek around this corner here, just speeding into their enemy. Oh, rest of the Saints are walled off from their Reinhardt here, but Nine was able to kind of get around to sustain Apostle. They're gonna push Ryerson off the point with the Lucio boop there, and Nine's gonna sustain his team with the Immortality field.
Yeah, that was just straight up brutal there. Like, the Saints just dove in, our junk boops him aside, G-Scales just drives them back straight through everybody. And as we can see, we haven't even captured the first point, and we're already ready to capture the second, basically, with how far the Saints have pushed up, and it's absolutely nuts to say the least. But, with that being said, with everybody so far ahead, it means these captures and the cart pushing takes a lot longer, but if they can keep finding picks like this, the cart will be back up here in no time.
For sure. And it looked like G-Skills was running up as Baby Diva there, just like, oh, there he is.
Get in
just
there,
kinda,
why not?
Yeah, running straight up there, trying to get his ult charge. There we go. He's back in his mech. Saints all the way pushed up to the second point. I'd imagine they have, oh, Arjunk on the point there. Just kind of waiting, having a little rave on the cart by himself. You know, got to crank up the music in the car. Saints just going to try to keep them back. Those May walls are scary. Never know where they're going to come out of.
Yeah, Available's been doing a fantastic job this entire series of just separating the team and just making it so easy to just call out targets and take them down. And that's going to be the Shatter. That's going to take, I think, 2 of them down at least there. Apostle is going to go down for it, but the return Shatter coming out here from Pleb is going to absolutely turn this fight. That is going to be the Blizzard. Available's not quite done with this fight. He wants to try and turn this. To be fair, he has quite a few of them frozen, but the Hanzo in the background, Aphrodisiac, is right there to try and at least do a little bit of return fire, which stops Available from going absolutely nuts, and in turn lets William kind of return the favor a little bit onto G-Scales. So ultimates are being blown, but a lot of just solo picks, and add a Dragon on top of that as well, looks like here from Afro.
Yeah, I don't know if prolonging the fight with Blizzard was the best decision there, but it looks like they were able to still hold on to the cart somehow by some miracle because of it.
Yeah, well, the initial decision may have been questionable. If the opponent then does the exact same decision right after the fact, then, I mean, worth an ult chat, right? But
exactly.
we have the window coming on down here from the side of Ryerson, so that damage and healing going to be going crazy for anything going through. But to be fair, this team fight is not in a very good position to utilize that window, and Nine is going to absolutely punish that. Pleb goes down. That's the Shatter there from Apostle, going to take 2 alongside the Diva Bomb from G-Scales, and everybody's going to find themselves on the board with Cheesy getting on there twice. And to be fair, that's going to be like maybe 1 or 2 more team fights here, and Ryerson are going to drop King's Row.
Absolutely. It looks like Saints are going to cap here. That's going to give them 5 minutes on the clock. That is a lot of time to push it just a few meters there.
Where can they get themselves set up? They have ultimates around the corner, but they don't want to necessarily go this moment. And as more and more time is ticking here, we're going to see the cart show up in just a moment. It is around the corner, and if Ryerson can't get here, it's going to be trouble. They're going to try and, I guess, go in with this Dragon here, and to be fair, they're absolutely crushing this. Toast finds Bayable, Afro is going to find 9, and just everybody else is going to go for a ride here with Apostle. May have gotten the pin, but he also got taken down in the meantime. William going to find the final blow there. Saints back to the spawn, and that's exactly what Ryerson needed to keep themselves in this game.
Ryerson was able to burn about 35 seconds of Saints' time, but they're still coming back. There's still about 4 minutes and 15 seconds left, and Available now has his ultimate, as well as Arjunk and Cheesy getting very close to theirs. Although Ryerson now building some ultimates as well. So, oh, we do see that ultimate come out from Kevin. Wow.
Holy moly, the freeze just basically took everybody down, and now this is free fall for Saints. They're going to take game 2, going to successfully take care of King's Row after a Blizzard again, and I mean time and time again in that series. Just constant, beautiful May walls to the point where it feels like the value of that May wall might as well be an ultimate by itself. And the Blizzard on top of that, alongside the play of everybody else on the Saints roster, was just absolutely nuts. Solid play so far here for St. Clair. They go up 2-0 over Ryerson. They need to do it one more time, but I'm not counting Ryerson out just yet, even though I said this was going to be a 3-0.
For sure. And that happened so fast that I was in the middle of saying one thought. I see 5 things pop up on the kill feed, and I'm like, whoa, what happened? And then they won the game. It's like,
yeah, wait a minute. I see a sea of blue. What happens here? Oh, wait a minute. That's Available freezing everybody, and that is a blue kill feed, and that's what we exactly like to see here. So 2 CP possibly on the menu here, or just strictly escort, which we could probably see with something like Rialto or Dorado, more than likely. Always, of course, not 100% sure of the order of operations in regards to maps, but at the end of the day, should be a exciting one here to possibly conclude, or to possibly get the run back started here for Ryerson.
Absolutely. Looks like we have some victory. I don't know what that was. Putting
Victory
his arms
stretch?
up. Stretch, maybe? I don't know.
Reminds me of the SpongeBob meme. Victory screech!
Yes,
that kind of pose he was
exactly.
going.
Exactly. Just kind of doing a little victory stretch there. Everybody's in high spirits, as they should be. You can see Coach Q walking around, too, kind of talking to all the players, hyping them up.
Yeah, hyping him up, but yet still looks calm, and I do like that. As much as you want to kind of ride the wave of momentum and just like kind of pop off with everybody, you have to remember that like it's not the end all be all. Yes, you have something going on, but you still have to focus. Still have another map ahead, possibly multiple. And if there's one thing that I've learned about this St. Clair roster from the couple of rounds that I've seen so far across multiple leagues, they are so momentum heavy and so prone to one thing going wrong turning into perma-tilt that I would absolutely hate for that to end up happening here in the series. That being said, it sounds like they've gotten a lot better, like getting to talk to the coach and talk to the players. It's not something that's prominent anymore, but it is something pretty common with just new teams in general, to be fair. But like, you're riding high on the momentum. Can you get consistent, though? And we'll get to see. And I liked seeing Q all calm and like cool and collected to kind of bring that focus towards the team.
For sure. And it does look like our next map will be Escort.
Okay, so no 2CP. Okay, cool.
Thank goodness.
No Game 6 today.
Actually, on that previous thought there, I do know one of Zenyatta's famous quotes from Overwatch is, "Overconfidence is a flimsy shield." So
Fact.
we like to keep that in mind when we're playing some Overwatch over here, you know? You get a little too hyped up and get a little bit cocky, and sometimes it's your undoing.
There's a reason why Zenyatta's one of the wisest characters in the cast, right? And that's exactly it. And I think he has something in regards to patience in one of his voice lines as well. So absolutely right.
Pretty much the Yoda of Overwatch.
Basically, and to everybody watching a stream in the background, I see you. Hello back there. Hope you're focusing on your comms before focusing on us. But at the same time, thank you for supporting us nonetheless, of course. Some little team-to-team love. Love to see it.
For sure. From one team to another. So, since we're going to be going on to hybrid here, I'm wondering what we're going to see. I know we see a lot of... Wow, I cannot think of the map name. The one with all the colorful buildings.
Overwatch in general is extremely colorful. Does this one
This
count?
was the one, is what I
There
was
we
thinking
go.
of. Why did I blank on the name all of a sudden? I have no clue. But this map is one of Saint's favorites right now.
Yeah, if I do recall correctly, this will be Rialto for game number 3, and with that map, so lots of long sight lines, but rather narrow. Near the very first section, there is a bit of an open area to play with, but that's basically the only open area in this entire map. Everything else, extremely narrow, long sight lines, or close range brawling within the building itself. And then this bridge that they're crossing, we don't have to worry about it for point number 1, but when we're getting started with point number 2, there have been times where I've seen teams just get straight up stuck there because they can't really move very far or like get very comfortable on it. And you'll see Lucios, you'll see Orisas, Roadhogs just absolutely abuse that. Just push them off the bridge, and of course, you fall in the water. They're Overwatch heroes are not quite proficient in swimming, so they are insta-dead.
Which is bizarre. You'd think that would be part of their training, you know, be able to swim as they're kind of like these soldiers, but I digress.
Sneaky. Okay, Apostle, why not just go right into the spawn? And he's going in. He's just straight up charging. What an absolute madman.
Very confident in his healers. Looks like our junk is just going to take a little bit different positioning here as Apostle is getting really, really low. You have to be pretty careful, but they are able to keep him up. He's just kind of swinging his hammer into the hole of Ryerson behind the wall.
I mean, granted, yes, St. Clair have them kind of pinched in the corner, but at the same time, this pharmacy combo has just been absolutely poking away, but at the same time, not quite finding the kills. And while Apostle finds himself the double, 9 and Cheesy are going to finish off the pharmacy. So this push has been shut down before it even touched the cart.
Wow. Yeah, I don't think they've moved a single meter yet by the looks of it. Saints really holding on to this cart for dear life. Looks like Ryerson's going to go for a little bit of a split play over here.
Feel
Kind
like
of get them
they have
looking. Yeah, exactly. You have to get them looking 2 places at once.
Okay. Okay, Afro. This is exactly the start they need if they can capitalize. Granted, they took down 2. Archunk being down and Apostle being down right now is absolutely huge. Afro being just left alone to just fire these arrows, and of course all these things pretty close to the one-shot headshot unless it's a tank. And G-Scale is going to get headshot as well, taken down. So this hold here from St. Clair is finally going to get taken down as soon as they can get the leapfrog and 9 on that Baptiste, and they're going to finally touch the cart. But at the same time, okay, I was going to say Saints built up charge, but I look over at Ryerson and realize how wrong I am. Oh dear God, this is going to be a brutal push from Ryerson.
They have almost 6 ults on the side of Ryerson right now. St. Clair, Apostle used his but couldn't find anything earlier and then swapped to Winston. So it looks like, oh, we are going to have a quick pause here. But while we're pausing, it does look like Saints are kind of in a rough spot. It looks like they're going to have to take this next fight, try to do it without any ultimates, and try to just like do the best they can, regroup, and take a fresh fight after getting some ult charge.
And like Ryerson is in perfect position to actually do this perfectly if they can get themselves to maybe just use 1 or 2 ults per fight. If all of them just push Q and just dump on everything on one fight, yes, you're going to win that team fight super, super hard, but you're not going to have anything for the follow-up. And as we see, this entire right side is going to be glowing up, and William coming in clutch. I was just talking about how the bridge is brutal, and I didn't even mention that Farah, one of the few characters too that can absolutely abuse it. We're going to have ourselves a double Graviton alongside the Dragon. A tried and true combo from essentially day one. Afro going to absolutely go nuts and find himself a triple.
Afro is definitely the player to watch from Ryerson today. Just absolutely popping off here, getting kill after kill. Looks like Saints are going to try to regroup. 9 kind of peeked in and saw the whole team, and he was like, nope, and ran out of there. Saints going to actually group up on the stairway here.
And then honestly, good for Ryerson. They only used 3, which
yes.
I was expecting them to go like 4 or 5, but props to them for being very, very patient with this, to say the least. They're going to pull up Valkyrie right here, right now, try and keep everybody topped off. Let's say, yeah, sticking into this one. And Pleb with the Shatter is probably going to turn this one right on its head. I see Toast and William getting themselves on the board as well, taking care of Apostle and Cheesy. And the Barrage is still here. Doesn't have anything to really combo it with. Could just fire it out onto support. I know has the Ana player yourself. It's a nightmare when you see the fire out with an ult above you, right? Unless you have that sleep dart available.
Oh, for sure. Looks like Saints are going to try to hold this spot, try to stop them from getting the second point capture. But they need to be careful because they've kind of let themselves get staggered over and over again. And we're a little bit low on ultimates, but now they're getting up there. William does get taken out by G-Scales here, although Saints are still down a little bit in players. So G-Scale's going to try and take out this Reinhardt.
Wow.
He just can't. Gets away with just a little bit of health left.
I mean, we don't usually get a lot of love for the support players, but Listia right there had the Reinhardt in their pocket, kept Pleb up way longer than it should have been. But in the meantime, this fight is still happening. 9 and Apostle did manage to find themselves 3 kills amongst themselves, and it is going to force Ryerson back for at least a moment. Regroup. 4 ultimates on deck now, with Pleb going to have one as well, and Afro is still finding retreating headshots, managing to find the shot onto Archunk.
Oh my goodness, Saints are, they definitely found their footing, but that Dragon could ruin it if they're not careful. Doesn't manage to get anybody, but Cheesy morphs into Reinhardt here by copying him. Gonna swing into the group of Ryerson. 9's gonna take out Plebu, which is a huge pick for the side of St. Clair. Cheesy trying to just get in there. Oh, he's going to try to get out, but to no avail. Kevin takes him out.
I mean, in theory, this is still winnable, but I don't mind Ryerson's decision to try and back on up here. Unfortunately, there for Afro. Kind of missed the doorway while trying to do some of these retreating headshots and got himself kind of stuck. So 9 going to find the elimination in that regard. I feel like we've been saying that quite a bit there. Baptiste is a character, and then 9, the way that he's playing him right now, might be a support, but he might as well be a DPS in his own right, finding so many eliminations here in the series.
For sure. Good Baptiste players can be a DPS and support at the same time. Very, very difficult thing to do, but when you master it like 9 appears to have done, it can be very powerful for your team.
And then that's going to be the shotter. Didn't think it actually made any contact with anybody, or at least not enough to really cause much of an elimination. Toast did find Cheesy, however, so this is still a bit of a back and forth. Bayable going to find another elimination, this time onto Pleb. And to be honest here, this soldier pick that kind of slipped under our radar, been doing some pretty consistent but pretty strong damage, and he still has the tac visor whenever he wants to pop it. Granted, he doesn't have a whole heck of a lot of support with it right now. No nano visor or anything.
Ryerson kind of grouping back up here. They only have 1 ultimate, maybe 2 going into this fight. Saints kind of in the same boat right now. We're kind of even in terms of ultimates. It's good to see that they were able to catch up. Looks like Ryerson's going to go and try to push them right off the stairs here and take them 1 by 1 if possible.
All right, Ryerson needs to make this work right here, right now, in order to give themselves more time on the clock. They have 15 seconds left, and right now, straight up, nope. 2 down right off the back. Pleb is going to be short for this world as well, taken down. And another team white with 5 seconds left. I think that's GG. That is going to be only 1 point on the board here for Ryerson, giving St. Clair lots of room to work with as long as point 1 doesn't give him too much trouble.
I did notice a few times Saints were nanoing their Baptiste 9, which is really interesting because we had said before, like, when he could be a DPS, he could be a really good DPS. But I thought for sure they'd give it to Soldier or something. But you know what? Maybe it was something to keep him up, or you know, to make sure he did some extra damage there. But either way, it worked. So I'm not complaining.
I mean, with the way that Nine's been fragging out so far in this series, might as well just give him a little bit of a extra boost there. Let the supports show the DPS up a little bit. It's like, okay, I'm a support, you're the DPS, and I'm out fragging. Yeah, keep up, my friends. Like, playfully, of course.
Exactly. I love to see the little bit of team banter there, kind of messing with each other, like, oh, I'm going to nano the Baptiste instead of you guys.
Well, look at me over here. I've got kind of like gold limbs. I have gold healing. Step up, everybody, as I'm... Why am I still in like, silver? Like, people thinking that the medals actually mean something in this game, but nonetheless, it still makes for some fantastic banter at the end of the day, as we now see Ryerson getting ready to set up for their defense. Curious if they'll have a little bit of a ranged approach, or if they're going to go point blank, similarly to what the Saints tried to pull off. And it looks like it's going to be a little bit more ranged if their current positioning has anything to do with it.
It seems that Saints were able to hold Ryerson at that door for a little while. It looks like Ryerson's going to actually take the opposite approach and try to hold further back.
Yeah.
And let them push the cart just a little bit, but have a stronger defense in this little hallway or alleyway that they have going on here.
Yeah, on the way, of course, we can move on up, and 9. We're going to see a little bit of a switch up here with these close quarters. It is one of the few opportunities that you can still bring out the Brig in this current meta game. So fun to see that character out there. Of course, I will admit, of all the characters that I have a gold weapon for, it will be the Brig. I love Brig, even though a lot of people absolutely hate this character, but
she's just so fun to play. Oh, big stun on the 9, but he's able to kind of get out of that. You know, Afro was looking for that kill, but not quite.
And to be fair, at least getting rid of the Widow for at least a second, not only like somewhat halts the push a little bit, but it's forcing GC to do something right out of his comfort zone, at least in my opinion, as Afro is going to take him down after GC like switches right on over to the Genji. But never mind, apparently Apostle's going to be the DPS this time by there on the Winston, just diving on in head first. No fears in the world alongside Bayable. With the extra speed, of course, that Soldier has to keep sprinting with their teammates. Just an absolute wrecking, like 2-man wrecking crew there.
Absolutely. It's almost funny watching 9 just run in with the flail after his team, kind of just hitting everything and watching the kill feed pop up, you know, as he goes while he's healing his team there.
Okay, William just fell, but I don't think it had anything to do with an actual, like, Saints boop or something like that. So that is absolute worst case scenario here. And the Saints are going to tear on through. Point 1 was no contest. And it's going to be all up to Ryerson to keep themselves in the game by basically full holding this point here. They cannot allow the Saints to get to the glowing area on the other side of this building. Otherwise, the series is done.
Right now, St. Clair does have 4 ultimates, but Ryerson has 5. So really, we could see a fight right here with a lot of ultimates. As I say that, 9 pops the rally. gonna kind of force them back a little bit. They don't want to die just yet, so they're trying to be very, very careful about this, because you rush in a little bit too early, you will die, and then the game would go to Saints. So very smart backing up like that, regrouping, and then popping the grab here. Get Nine and Cheesy and Apostle all together. Throw the Dragons in there too. William getting a triple kill. Available, trying to pick off Listhea, but Toast manages to get him as well. So Saints are going to have to regroup for this fight here.
Absolutely brilliant play there from Ryerson. He has 9 pops of the rally to move on forward, but of course that gives the entire team armor essentially, but it does not last forever. So Ryerson just like, you know what, pop that ult, we're just gonna go back to the corner and wait it out. And then that engage, the tried and true combo of the Grav Dragon, plus kind of baiting out Bailable's tack visor on top of that as well, and then focusing him down instantly. Beautifully done here, but this is going to be Saints' turn to try and turn this around. Cheesy, Nano Blade, insta shutdown. Absolutely no value there for the Saints, unfortunately. And Afro is going to find himself the Deadeye as well to at least get one more on the board. Pleb going one-on-one with Nine, going to find the victory in that case here. And now it looks like it's going to be Listhea, who may not have been in round 1, but has been absolutely leaving their mark in round 2 and 3. While may not necessarily be turning into Ryerson victories, I've been noticing that username on the kill feed pretty consistently, or straight up saving players on Ryerson. And honestly, it's a good switch for Ryerson.
St. Clair going to regroup here, trying to get Ryerson off that payload so they can cap the last few meters there. But Ryerson has been holding it very strongly here, not letting them through. Afro looking for a pick early here, see if he can find Cheesy, but he can't. Saint's going to keep doing a little bit of poke damage, trying to pick off somebody as well.
Gosh, on Afro, I'm laughing essentially. You're picking all of these flank DPSs into a cowboy? This is exactly what I'm here for. So hopefully they're for Cheesy, just able to get outmaneuvered, but you get hit by the flashbang. I mean, you're toast. One headshot, you are squishy, my friend. And never mind about the Tracer itself. Bailable's going to find himself out of position and goes down by Afro. The grab is actually going to whiff, however. They're still going to use the Dragon on top of that too. But unfortunately, they're not going to get as much value, but they do still find Arjunk. So to be fair, this is still surprisingly even, and it's because Afro just absolutely went nuts. Just found himself a double, sent the Saints back packing. There's a minute 40. Ryerson's in a prime position to actually do this, especially if William is able to find these extra headshots that we're seeing, these retreating, or rather these pursuing headshots across the bridge.
Absolutely, and it looked like it was just a little bit unfortunate there for Arjunk there, kind of getting caught on the corner, but it does happen. Overwatch, the maps are so intricate sometimes, you know, a pillar gets in the way or something, and it's like, well, nothing much I can really do but accept my fate.
Exactly, and like every little bit is cover, and every little bit can basically just be a stonewall holding you, literally. So we'll have to see what happens in this next fight here. Saints, 4 ultimates on deck. We're going to see the Nano Boost. That's going to be Nano Visor plus the Diva Bomb. There is a lot going on right now, but they're actually getting nothing, and it's Afro who's going to get value? That is absolutely insane there for the side of Afro and Ryerson. They are killing it so far. 50 seconds left to go. How about another, but finally going to get shut down. Apostle on the Primal Rage going to finally just give him a nice whack in the head. It's like, okay, that's enough. Get shut down. That being said, all of the Saints are still retreating, or not retreating, but returning to the battlefield. And meanwhile, Ryerson, they're basically ready to go, but a quick pick here. Listhea going down. That could be trouble.
Only 30 seconds left on the clock. Saints have to go marching in right now, but Ryerson gonna take a high ground position here to try to force the Saints away. It looks like they're going to just kind of slowly come out from all over here, see if they can break through this defense. The Tracer on the side of Saints, kind of going in behind, trying to get them to turn around.
Oh boy.
Oh, here we go. Big.
Yes.
Oh, no, not so big grab on the side of Ryerson. Didn't really manage to get too much. Cheesy does go down to Kevin, but Available and Cheesy were able to get Afro
so
and
close.
William. For sure. Nine popping the window here, trying to find a few more picks with it, but
No
just
way.
can't.
Available still here, trying to get onto contact. Apostle pretty low, but hanging on for dear life. Saints are barely going to win this fight. It looks like they're pushing the car. Can somebody get there? Not at all. Saints by the skin of their teeth are going to manage to find themselves a 3-0 here. But to be honest, like, well fought by Ryerson. They nearly turned that around, and they got better as the series went on. But beautifully done for St. Clair for the 3-0. William going to probably find this grab drag combo to get himself play of the game.
Look at this here. This was beautiful dragons. Although the grab, oh, this was the grab that managed to get about 3 members there, but and then he went and took Arjunk out right after, but it wasn't shown in that clip specifically. But very good game by everyone today. Saints look very happy about that win. It's great to see them finally find a win for themselves.
Absolutely.
After some hard games here.
Absolutely. And they were able to clutch out that fight too. They didn't panic. I liked what Ryerson did with that grab, even though it was a little bit unconventional. A couple of the Saints were still on that high ground, on that like overpass bridge. And it was a lot of the squishier members. They fired the grab in there and they tried to get the Hanzo to just dump damage into it, but it just did not quite work as intended. They may have gotten 1 pick, but they didn't get as much as they could have. So unfortunately, that piece of utility, that grab, was gone for the main fight. But that being said, that fight was still so close. I believe that was Cheesy, was finally able to kind of juke around all of the flashbangs there from the Cowboy on the side of Ryerson. Found the opportunity to hop in there, get a bunch of damage. Apostle was always on the cart too, so that overtime bar did not fall. Everything just turned into Saints' favor right at the moment it needed to. And honestly, like good on Saints, they get themselves a 3-0 success. The prediction ended up being correct, but that was much closer than I was expecting, to be honest. And I have to give some props to our opponent as well. Ryerson, good fight.
Absolutely. Excellent game tonight. Happy that Saints finally were able to get their NACE win that they wanted. I don't think we saw any of their NACE wins on camera, but we did see a few losses. But you know what? It's all part of the come-up story.
Absolutely. It just means when we do get to see a victory on stream, it is just that much sweeter because, of course, as much as we want to have every single game for every single team on stream, the schedule is so chaotic that it sometimes just doesn't quite work out that way. But speaking of the schedule, why don't we take a look and see what we have coming up in the next couple of days, as we do, of course, tomorrow in the NACE Star League. Going to have some League of Legends action starting at 7 o'clock. Then on Wednesday, we get to see our Fortnite team for the very first time this season as it's play versus solos. So Siri, the coach, captain of the squad, going to be taking part in that, but I believe the rest of the squad are ready to rock as well. And to be honest, with being the first time that we see them on stream, it'll be the first time I see the full completed roster as well. So it's going to be an exciting one there. Fortnite is always an absolute cluster, if you know what I'm saying, for the end game. But then we do get some additional Overwatch action. Thursday, up against Fanshawe, we're going to have a match at 7. Friday, it would normally be a Rainbow Six Siege CR6 doubleheader. However, we do have one bye, so it is going to be just one match starting at 7. Then on Sunday, if you weren't already sick of Sunday all-day tournaments, well, we have ourselves another one, this time for Rocket League, as we look to take our spots in the CRL regular season through the East qualifiers. Going to be absolutely huge if we can get ourselves all the way there. And of course, that's featuring both the Saints Gold and Green roster, so there's going to be so much Rocket League to follow. I know I'm personally extremely excited for it all.
Absolutely. Is that a one-day tournament, or is there going to be more than one day for it?
Unlike some other tournaments that try to split it out by doing 2 matches in one day, 2 in another, 2 on Friday, and 2 on Sunday, the next week or whatever, this is just going to be all day.
We're
great. We're just going to get it all done in one day.
A whole day of Rocket League? That sounds like a great Sunday afternoon. You guys should come join us for it.
Such TOing. Much wow. But nonetheless, of course, we do have a bunch of thank yous to go out. First off to the viewers at home and, of course, our sponsors. Of course, newest sponsor being Crunchyroll. I know everybody, when that announcement went up, everybody just went absolutely batshit insane. I absolutely love to see that. And it's going to be, of course, with a 14-day premium trial on top of that as well. Crunchyroll.com/Saints to get a piece of that. The Netflix of anime right around the corner for you.
Absolutely. Very exciting to see Crunchyroll sponsoring Saints Gaming. I know I was excited. Thank you to our other sponsors as well. Tim Hortons, Subway, the SRC, the Alumni Association, and St. Clair College themselves for having us.
Absolutely. And of course, big thank you to the viewers at home. All of this is so that you can get to watch your friends, your family members, your classmates, or just being able to support the broadcast or the team here. So thank you all for tuning in. And of course, a couple more thank yous. First off to Commanda for joining me here on the commentary desk. It's been a long time since we had the opportunity to commentate together, and you're definitely leveling up. Keep it up.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thanks for joining me today, Dan. It was awesome to cast with you again.
Absolute pleasure. And then also to the backline, we have a bunch of new positions for everybody, to say the least. Normally, Jackson would be right here in my seat right now. He's probably going back after my slip up. But at the same time, Jackson's in the back, rocking the director's chair alongside Donka. And of course, first time observer here, absolutely crushing it, Matt or Bjorn Rock. Thank you so much for observing and just helping with this absolute killer stream. Love the new support we have from, or all the new interest rather, that we have from all of the new students. And it's just been absolutely crazy. So looking forward to the next one.
For sure. And it allows us to do many other things. Like, you get to cast alongside me because you don't have to worry about all the back end stuff. So it's great to see like everybody coming out and working on production with us.
I mean, I'm still worrying about the back end stuff, but I'm sure they've got it under control, right? Yeah, we got thumbs up in the back, so.
Probably. Just don't mess up that transition, Jackson.
Yeah, I'm not going to call it for a finishing transition in 3. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, but that being said, we shall close out tonight. Of course, more action still to come tomorrow, but we will see you then. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great night. We'll see you next time.